Hey guys. Okay, you are now live. Cool. I'm in a different type of studio. I'm checking it out. Okay, so if you're joining me, if you're hanging out, make sure you put in the chat hello, hi, your name, so I know who to talk to, so I know who I'm greeting here. As you saw by today's title, it is I title it Chit Chat. So we're going to chit and chat. We're talking about self care and food and how taking care of yourself relates to your food and what you eat. So, Makeda, hey girl. So I watched your live yesterday. I caught up and real quick before I talk about like what I want to talk about today, I hosted an event like I told you. And my first event, I just have to tell you this real quick. My first event that I hosted, I had no idea what was going on. And I planned it in less than a month. And I spent $500 out of pocket because I didn't know what the heck was going on. So if I had just watched like two of your tips from that video, like you could have saved me $500. So yes, Makeda, what you are doing is super important and more people need to hear about it. So do not stop spreading your message because you're going to save all of the people money. I wish I had heard about you then. Okay, haha, she says. Okay, so today I want to share with you murder. Okay, so Aurora, hey girl. Makeda says, haha, I love it. Yeah, girl, what you're doing is important. Okay, so first I wanted to share with you one like discovery that I've made this week. Is that okay with you if I share a discovery with you? So there's a lot of vegans in this group actually, and so you might already know about this, and you might already be like, oh, Sarena, like this is old news. Like you're so 2011, you need to catch up. But I literally just tried this thing for the first time yesterday and I am like level 12 hyped. Okay. So Aurora says, of course, share. Okay, awesome. So I'm so excited. It's called nutritional yeast. Have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried nutritional yeast? All the vegans are going to be like, yes, Serena, I've tried this. Have you ever tried nutritional yeast? Aurora says yes. Makeda says no. Okay, great. 50-50 split here. So nutritional yeast, it makes everything taste like cheese. Yes, Aurora, yes. So it kind of has like a nacho cheesy flavor. So I know a lot of people who are vegan miss cheese, right? So this could solve all of your problems if you miss cheese. Yesterday, I roasted chickpeas and I put them in the air fryer. Okay. And so I wanted to make kind of like a Dorito nacho cheese situation, but for chickpeas, because we're trying to be health, much health. I used to make queso for sure. Ooh, I should make some queso with it. That's a great idea, Aurora. Thank you. I'm going to try that one. So I made chickpeas that tasted like nacho cheese Doritos, and I poured this stuff all over the top and then some chili powder. It was delicious. And the great thing about nutritional yeast is it has like trace minerals that are actually hard for us to get in like normal food, and it's a complete protein, so that's great. It's just it okay, honestly, like when I opened it I was a little disappointed because it kind of looked like fish food, and I was like, I'm not feeling the goldfish vibes today, but but I tried it and I was pleasantly surprised. So I just got this at Albertsons. And again, it has the trace minerals, which is so good for you. It has protein and it has a lot of B vitamins. And B vitamins are really good if you're feeling like really tired. So it can kind of give you a boost. So if you're vegan out there and you're like, yo, we need to spice up my life, you should really try nutritional yeast. I just got it at Albertsons. It was on sale when I got it yesterday. I don't know when you're going to try to get it, but it's just a fun way. Like cooking is a fun way to, and this is what we're going to talk about today. It's a fun way to take care of yourself. And let's see, got to catch up. Yes, with cashews. Haha. It does look like fish food. Yes, it does. It does look, I mean, I don't think I can show you without making like a mess. Oh, here we go. It looks like fish food. It's a little flaky, but it does not taste like fish food. It tastes pretty good. So if you're looking to spice up your life, kind of add some Dorito nacho cheese situation into your food and into your meals, definitely try this. People sprinkle it over popcorn and salad and chips, whatever your situation is. So this brings me to my topic for today. I know last week I shared with you that really cute sparkly mask, and we were talking about how we can make the best of our situation and how we can make the best of being in this COVID life. I don't know what to call it. And so last week, the theme of our chat was basically like, how can we infuse positivity into our day to day? And that was so fun. Thank you again for hanging out with me then. But so this week, we're going to talk about how we can actually take care of ourselves with the food that we eat. And what is our mindset when we are like fueling our bodies? Like, what are we thinking? How do we see ourselves? How do we see the food that we're eating? Let me know, like, raise your hand if you're like most people and you love food. Like, let me know in the chat. Do you love food? Mostly when you ask people that, they're like, oh my gosh, I love, they're obsessed, right? Let's make it more fun. What is your favorite food? That's what I want to know. Put that in the chat. What is your favorite food? What's your favorite snack? What's your favorite thing to munch on during the quarantine life? The quarantine lifestyle. Eating is the best, Aurora says. Yes. And the problem is, for me, like, because I've been home more, and I work from home, normally, typically, like, so quarantine hasn't changed that much for me. But working from home, I get bored and I confuse that with hunger. And I find myself standing in front of my fridge for the fourth time in one day, or in front of my pantry, like looking at the same snacks and going, I wonder if there's any good ones that are hidden that I missed the first 3 times I was here. So I've been visiting the pantry more and I've been visiting the fridge more. Like, is that just me? Everybody's talking about the quarantine 15, right? Where they gain 15 pounds because they're in quarantine. Okay, the snacks are coming in. Eating is the best. Hands raised. Oh, Makeda's like, steak. Steak is my favorite. Makeda, what's your favorite cut? What's your favorite cut of steak? Just sorry, vegans, but I'm just curious. Makeda, what's your favorite type of steak? I like New York. I like a good New York. Mac and cheese. Ooh, mac and cheese is really good. I've been trying to eat more salads though. I love a good salad. I love we talked about this on Sachet's Instagram Live. We're talking about salads, and you got to load up the salad correctly, right? You have to have all of the right toppings, the situation. I do a lot of fruit on my salads. Been trying to eat more salads. Okay, just read that one. I fill my jug with water when I start doing that. Yeah, it's so important to drink a lot of water. And then you can get all fancy with your water situation and start adding like the lemon or the mint or the cucumber. Do you do like spa waters at home, Aurora? Or no, Makeda, you said that. Filet mignon is my favorite. Ooh, girl, you're fancy. This is a fancy girl. Okay. So we have to eat, right? We have to eat to live. Food equals fuel. We need food to keep going in life. That is like point blank, period, end of story. You have to eat. And for me, this is just my experience with food. Everybody has a different like story with food, right? But for me, I grew up, as I mentioned before in the last live, I think, I was a vegetarian, but I wasn't a vegetarian because I love animals. I was a vegetarian because my mom raised me a vegetarian. And so because it was never my decision and because it was never something that I chose for myself, I didn't really care that much that I was one. It was just what I was. I would compare it to if you went to another country and you tried the foreign food, the taste was weird. The consistency was weird. It just tasted weird. That's how meat tasted to me. So when I got older, I realized that what I was eating, the foods that I was eating actually were not that healthy for me. I was a vegetarian, yes, but I was not doing it right. My diet consisted a lot of carbs and sugars and fats. And I was not really getting like fiber. I wasn't getting my amount of protein. I wasn't getting enough like vegetables. My diet, my vegetarian diet growing up was just very carb focused, snack focused, lots of processed food focused. The frozen food section at the grocery aisle, like all of the vegetarian frozen chicken nuggets, frozen orange chicken, like but vegetarian versions. Those were my jam. And Trader Joe's spinach artichoke dip, like whew, that was my go-to snack, okay, with some naan bread. And that was it, like point blank, done. People are popping in. I was a junk food vegetarian for years, but then I switched to whole food, plant-based, and now my diet is all veggies. See, Aurora, like you're getting it. Like that's where I'm going with this. Like it's funny because when people are like, some people are very proud to be a vegetarian or a vegan or whatever, and whatever, you do you, that's fine. But the funny thing is, like, you can still be a vegan or you can still be a vegetarian and not be doing your body any favors. You can still do that. You can still be that, and you can still be unhealthy. And that's what I was. I was a vegetarian, but I was not healthy. Being a vegetarian did not make me any healthier than anyone else. What I was eating, what I was putting in my body was not good. It was not good for me. So that was kind of my background with food. And so I realized when I became like early 20s, I would do a lot of like emotional eating, but without realizing it. And so I think our culture, let me know if you agree with this or not. Like, this is totally up for discussion. If you disagree with me, hop into the chat and be like, yo, Sarena, you're wrong and here's why. Like, I don't care. That's fine. Just totally, like, this is an open-ended conversation. But when I was around 20, I thought that I felt like our culture kind of glorified like indulging in treats like junk food or food that's unhealthy as a type of self-care. And here's what I mean by that. Like, for the self-care graphics that you see on Instagram or on Pinterest, it's like a girl in the bathtub and she's drinking champagne, right? Or a girl and she's like watching a movie and she has a bunch of junk food spread out everywhere. So for me, let me know if your experience is different. But for me, I kind of got the impression that self-care equals indulging in candy or indulging in alcohol or indulging in a treat. Self-care equals treat, right? That's what I got. Let me know if that has been your experience also, but that was the impression that I got from our culture. And I didn't see anything wrong with this. For a long time, I did not see anything wrong with this. And Aurora says, I'm also a nutritionist, words are hard. So I have to practice what I preach. Okay, that is awesome, Aurora. It is awesome to like, oh, I would love to be a nutritionist. I would love for you to create a side hustle so I could learn from you. But understanding what we're eating and what it does to our bodies is so important. So early 20s, I thought self-care equals junk food. Self-care, taking care of myself equals indulging, equals chocolate, wine, alcohol. And so I got married pretty young, and I have a great relationship with my husband. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes he goes out of town for trips, for work trips. And when he would go out of town, I would feel like an anxiety coming on, and I would feel like a nervousness coming on. Like, is it just me that doesn't always like to be alone? So I would feel anxious and nervous. And in order to be like, to trick myself to make it a better situation, I'd be like, oh, we're just going to take care of ourselves. I'm just going to do some self-care while he's away. And so what I would do when he left to try to make myself feel better, I would go to the grocery store, load up on snacks, load up on candy, on junk food, ice cream, like popcorn, chocolate, alcohol, wine, whatever. And when he was gone, because I was anxious, because I was alone, I would just do like a full smorgasbord, like way not necessarily binging, but I didn't need all that, right? And so what I realized was happening is I was emotionally eating. I was feeling anxious. I was feeling alone. I was feeling lonely. And so I wanted to fill that void. So I started distracting myself with food. Let me know if you have ever, Lord, I can't be the only one. Come on. Everybody, our culture is like the breakup ice cream. We're having a gallon of ice cream when you get broken up with or when you're going through a breakup. Like emotional eating's the thing, right? Like, can we normalize emotional eating? Like, I'm not the only one here, right? I'm not the only one here that emotionally eats. Wow, you were not messing around. Yeah, I was not messing around. How long would he go for? So, excuse me, he really wouldn't even go for that long, like a day or a weekend, or like 3 days was probably the longest. And I was like so anxious and so like, that I felt like I had to have all of the snacks, all of the things. And mind you, that's expensive too, right? It's expensive to get a bottle of wine, a couple bags of candy, chocolate. Like, it's expensive to do these little emotional eating situations. And so I would do this. And at first I didn't see anything wrong with it. But when I noticed it was a pattern in my life, like, okay, he leaves. Okay, I go to the store. I get all the snacks. He leaves. I go to the store. I get all the snacks. When it became a pattern like that, and I realized I was uncomfortable with him being gone, and then it's like, okay, we should probably do something about this. And this is one of the problems with our culture, in my opinion, is people like joke around with food too much. Like, food is an amazing thing. Food is fuel for our body. Food gives us energy and it gives us like focus and it makes us feel good. But I think sometimes there's like this perception of like, give me all the food. Like, I deserve all the food. I deserve all the treats all the time. And I'm not saying that there should be so much restriction, but I am saying like, we take care of ourselves and we take care of our bodies when we eat well, right? When we nourish ourselves, when we're actually being intentional with what goes into our bodies, we feel better. Let me catch up on these over here. I eat cotton candy ice cream when I get super sad. I like the specifics here. Cotton candy ice cream. Yeah. Because that's the kind I had after a breakup years ago. Emotional eating is very real, right? So, okay. So this is Sophia. Hey, Sophia. And it's funny. So Sophia's saying, I eat cotton candy ice cream. It's very specific. It's a specific flavor. And she has the attachment because that's what she had after a breakup years ago. So our brain gets into these things like this. Like, I love Sour Patch watermelons. So if I'm feeling anxious or I want sweets, I'm like, ooh, Sour Patch watermelons. Like, that reminds me of high school. My friends and I would always eat them, and so we have these emotional connections with food, which is not bad. But what I'm saying is we do need to be in check, and we do, to a certain extent, need to hold ourselves accountable to what we're eating. Because Sour Patch watermelon, once in a while, that's fine. I don't care. No big deal. Like, you do you eat your snacks, that's fine. But on the flip side, if you're having like 2 entire bags of Sour Patch watermelon in one sitting by yourself, just because you feel anxious, there might be a problem there. If when you feel overwhelmed or stressed out, your first response is to turn and buy the cotton candy ice cream, once in a while is fine, but if it's every single time you get stressed out or nervous, there might be a problem there. Like, as adults, we need to find healthy ways to deal with our emotions. And that part of that is understanding what we're feeling and understanding, why do we feel triggered to go for the snacks? Why do we feel triggered to have this candy or to drink the wine or whatever it is? Like, why? Like, there's nothing wrong with going for the snack, but why do you feel like you need it right now? I think that's a good question to ask. Like, why am I reaching for the chocolate? Is there something really going on, or am I just wanting a little snack? Like, what's the deal here? So Sachet says, hey, I was talking about you earlier. I was talking about how we were talking about salads on your last live video. So you've been mentioned in this live. Let me get some water and then we'll keep going here, okay? Hydrate. It's very important. Okay. So I had the junk food situation. I would get my smorgasbord of snacks whenever my husband would leave because I felt anxious because I didn't want to cope with being alone, right? That's where we were. And so this year, I've really been challenging myself. And if this is something that you're like, hey, I'm in this boat too, maybe you should try this too. But really challenging myself to look at the food that I'm eating and ask myself, like, okay, like, what is my intention with this snack? Do I need this? Do I want this? Is this snack going to nourish my body? Because it's really fun to have the candy and it's really fun to have the ice cream. Like, trust me, I'm a sweets girl. Like, when I was little, I had so many cavities. I was used to laughing gas because they would be filling my cavities because I liked candy so much, right? That is me. This is my background. So when I say, like, be specific and pay attention to the candy you're eating and asking yourself, like, do I need this? I understand it's hard. It's hard to not have as much sugar. But when you feel like down or anxious, kind of ask yourself, like, is this going to nourish my body in the long run? Like, is this going to feel good? Because it feels good when we're eating McDonald's, right? It feels good when we're eating the ice cream cone, or it feels good when we're like eating the candy because the dopamine, like as soon as the sugar hits your tongue, the dopamine hits and it triggers all of these like things in your brain where you're like, wow, like this is amazing. And studies have shown that sugar is, get ready, sugar is more addictive than crack cocaine. I'll leave that there. So maybe that's what my problem has been. Sugar is more addictive than crack cocaine. I just heard that the other day and I was like, oh, that explains so much. I got to catch up on these. Hey, the June creation. Hey. Okay, hey guys. You know the water you drink has been in thousands of other people's mouths. Oh gosh, I didn't need that visual. Why are you telling me this? Don't tell me that. Even like the what? That comment hurt. I don't like that comment. Even okay. So if you're saying the water I drink has been in thousands of people's other mouths, I just need to pause for that one. What about Fiji water? Like, I know I'm not paying $5 for a bottle of water that's been in everybody's mouth, right? Is Fiji water good? Is that? Why are you telling me that? No. Okay. Hey there. I just felt good eating my bowl of ice cream and now I'm sad. No, that's not my intention, Skylar. The intention is like, girl, I love snacks. I love sweets. And it's fine to have sweets every now and then. But what I'm saying is, like, for me, sometimes I would binge on sweets, right? I would go for the sweets to like self-soothe or to like feel better about a situation. And food, it's hard because you can't get away from food, right? If I were an alcoholic, if I were, I'm not, if I were, if I were an alcoholic, I don't have to have alcohol to live, right? But with food, if I was addicted to food, I have to have food to live. If I don't have food, I die. And so food is a really beautiful way, like food brings people together. Food is a celebration, cake and ice cream. Like, it is fun to enjoy and indulge in food. But the question that I'm kind of asking and like kind of the thought that I want to encourage with this conversation is more so like, what type of food am I choosing to nourish my body? Is there a way, like, am I having too many treats or too many snacks? Am I indulging maybe a little bit too much? It's kind of that self-accountability. Like, are the choices that I'm choosing to make going to make me feel the best? That's the mindset. So if you want to enjoy a bowl of ice cream, that is absolutely okay, Skylar. Like, that's totally, do not feel bad. Do not feel guilty. But every single day we have the choice and we can move forward with each decision. So every single day is a fresh start, and we get to choose, how do I want to fuel my body? How do I want to nourish my body? How can I feel my absolute best, right? That's kind of the mindset. Not, oh gosh, with food, there's so much shame involved and punishment. I ate this and now I'm bad. No, that's not it. But kind of asking, like, what can I do to show love to my body? What snacks can I have that can give me energy and focus and help my brain feel more clear? I think one of the biggest problems with self-care is it looks at the short term, okay? It looks at like, yeah, I'm going to have like a bottle of wine and I'm going to feel good tonight, but then we don't think about the next day when you have hangover, right? Or it's like, yeah, I'm going to have a big fat bowl of ice cream and it's just going to like, I feel a little bit anxious or sad and I'm just going to eat all of this right now because I deserve it, which, sometimes ice cream is great to celebrate, but are you really taking care of your body long term with that bowl of ice cream? It's not bad to have a snack or to indulge, but like, what is taking care of yourself the most long term? Like, what is self-care actually? I think self-care, it's gotten like, people try to make it sexier than it actually is. People try to make it like, ooh, self-care is this and splurging, but self-care is actually kind of a long game, right? Self-care is going to sleep and getting enough hours of sleep each night. Self-care is actually eating foods that nourishes your body and keeps you happy and focused. Self-care is maintaining relationships with your friends and family. It's not like buying a $400 purse, although like it could be, but self-care isn't as sexy as everybody makes it seem. Self-care is really a long-term goal. Like, let me know in the chat what you think about self-care. Like, what pops into your mind? What are some of the things that pop into your mind for self-care? Let me catch up on this chat over here. Okay. Life of Shayla. Hey, yes, sugar is more addictive. Yeah, sugar is very addictive. Makeda, I heard sugar is a molecule away from cocaine. I would not be surprised. So is it Alicia or Alicia? Because I have a stepsister and her name is Alicia, but it looks like, because you have the E right there, it looks like Alicia. So can you like type out how you say it? Sorry. Every single day. Okay. Rift Galaxy. You're about to get banned from the chat. I don't know who you are, but I'm about to kick you out because you are not being productive in this conversation. Get out of you. You're gross. Hold on. Please hold, guys. I put you in a timeout. I put Rift Galaxy in a timeout. So our chat is going to be clear. That's the thing with live. It's kind of dangerous. Okay, they're out of here. They're grody. We're going to get rid of them. They're cochino. That's me. I overindulge. Very true. That's me with mimosas. Sashay, don't forget to show the host some love and like the live. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then Rift Galaxy is gone. They be grody. They be talking about poo and water and like, bye, Felicia, right? We don't need that. We don't need that negativity. Okay, so now we're going to... Okay, Sophia says, to me, self-care is exactly what you said. Doing what you don't want to do in the moment to make your future happier. Yes, period. Like, here's your crown queen. That's it. Self-care is doing what you don't want to in the moment that will make your life better in the future. Like, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's what self-care is. Self-care isn't this sexy, like, oh, I just got new Louis Vuittons. Like, that could be a form of self-care, but like most of the time, it's not that sexy. Most of the time, self-care, like I said before, is getting enough water so you feel good, getting enough sleep, actually talking to your friends that encourage you and lift you up. Self-care isn't that sexy, right? Self-care isn't like some like, ooh, look at me, here I am, Self-care is actually cleaning your room because every time you look at it, it's giving you anxiety. It's not that sexy. Self-care is cleaning your home or your apartment because every time you look around it, you feel stressed out, and you'll feel better when your home is clean. That's what self-care is. It's actually doing the things that take care of you and your health and yourself long term. So, how can we apply self-care with our foods and with our snacks that we have every single day? How can we infuse the two together? So, you can make it fun, right? Pinterest exists, and Pinterest is a wealth of inspiration and information. And there's shows like Sashay, like she has all this food on her YouTube, and you can get inspiration from other people. So to have food be self-care, I would encourage you to look on Instagram or look on Pinterest about what recipes you really want to try that are healthy. What things could you do? What could you make? What's a snack that you love? I like chickpeas. I just talked about that. I like chickpeas. And so looking on Pinterest, getting some inspiration, getting equipped, getting your goodies, going to the store, getting all your different ingredients, and then actually taking the time to make yourself something delicious. Like that's actually self-care. Self-care could be like making the intention like, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars on my groceries, and I'm going to get healthy groceries, right? That's taking care of your body. Yesterday, I went to Costco and I got I love fruit. So I got 9 peaches from Costco. It was $9. And, when you're getting something at Costco, you're like, oh, do I need it? Do I need to spend $9 on peaches? Is it worth it? Yes. Your body is worth taking care of. Your body is going to thank you. Your body is going to be happy when you eat the fruit, when you eat the vegetables, when you nourish it and fuel it with good food. Another really delicious thing that I've been trying lately is bone broth. Now they make vegan bone broth. I've seen it in the stores. I don't know what's going in it because it's not bones, but if you're not vegan, if you're not vegetarian, bone broth, it's really good for you. It has gelatin, and it helps the growth of your hair. It helps your skin. It helps your nails. And so just taking the time to learn about the food that you're eating and to learn about what it does for your body and for yourself, that helps you feel okay, we're taking care of ourselves. We're doing something good here. Honestly, this year, I feel more respect towards food than I ever have because I'm actually trying to nourish myself. I'm actually trying new things. And here's another problem that I think women have. We don't think we're worth it to take the time to cook ourselves a meal. Have you ever experienced that? I know my mom is a single mom, but she lives by herself right now so she's an empty nester. And I asked her hey, Mom, what'd you have for dinner? And she'd be like, you know what? It seems like such a waste to cook for myself when it's just me. And while in some ways, yes, I can understand that, you're tired, long day. I get that, whatever. But at the same time, how therapeutic could it be to cook yourself a nice meal? What if you had the music playing, and what if you were cooking your favorite dish? What if you were making it fun for yourself? When we eat our food, we look at it first. So we want to make the plate pretty. We want to make it beautiful, and we're excited to eat it because that is taking care of ourselves. Nourishing ourselves is taking care of ourselves. So let me know in the chat if you have ever felt how my mom has felt oh, I don't really want to cook, or oh, it's just too much trouble to cook for just me, or oh, I feel lazy. Let me know if you felt that. And then also let me know your favorite thing that you cook for yourself. One of the things that I love to cook for me is shrimp. I love shrimp. And so you get the shrimp and you defrost them, and they're kind of time consuming because sometimes there's the shell, but personally I love to eat shrimp. And so this time around, when my husband went out of town, instead of turning to my old habits and my old ways, because that's what emotional eating is. It's a habit. That's what's happening there. So instead of turning to my old habits, I was like, okay, He's going out of town on this day. And normally I would have treats and sugars and snacks and alcohol. But I want to be healthy and I want to take care of myself and my body. So I'm going to cook myself a nice, healthy meal with lots of vegetables, right? And so I went to the store, went grocery shopping, carefully picked out like good vegetables, good fruits, things that were ripe in season. I smelled my veggies to make sure they were fresh. And it's really an experience. Sorry, my phone was ringing. It's really an experience. Like it's a process, actually taking the time to pick out your food, taking the time for yourself to prepare the food, to peel the shrimp or to cut the carrots, or it's a process. And it's a way to patiently take care of yourself, right? That's how we take care of ourselves. And so, what would it look like for you to spend the time on yourself, spend the time to prepare a meal for yourself that you would love? You could play music that you enjoy. You could like get your favorite meal, and you could get like the fancy glasses, the fancy wine glasses or something, and get like sparkling water. You could make a whole situation and just make it really nice for yourself, because like we can't expect other people to spoil us if we don't even treat ourselves right. If we don't even spend the time on ourselves to care about what goes into our body and to care about nourishing our bodies, like why would anybody else want to like treat us so well and spoil us with the fancy meal if we don't even think that we deserve the time to make it ourselves? It's a practice. Like loving yourself and being okay with yourself is a practice. We have to work at it. We have to practice it. And so I challenge you, like sometime this week, pick a day, pick a night, and actually take the time to cook yourself a nice meal, and actually take the time to sit down at the table, right? Not at your couch. Sit down at the table with like your fancy glass and your fancy plates and your fancy silverware, whatever the situation, and just enjoy. Like you don't need to be on your phone. You don't need to be watching Netflix. You just chill and enjoy and think about like, yeah, I'm taking care of my body. I'm nourishing my body. I'm doing something good for me. Like that is my challenge to you this week. Let me know in the chat if you are up for the challenge, if you're going to try it, because like this is self-care. That's taking care of yourself in the long run. Let me catch up. Of course, but I love cooking. That's great, Makeda. I'm happy that you love cooking. I did not grow up in a household that cooks. And so I am learning how to cook. I'm learning how to love cooking because it is like it's a skill and you have to fall in love with it, I think, in my opinion. I love making quinoa a million ways. Right. Okay. So Makeda, you could make a yummy quinoa bowl, like veggie bowl. And so have the quinoa on the bottom and all the grilled veggies on the top. You can make this situation like perfect and delicious. So let me know in the chat if you're going to take me up on this challenge, if you're going to take the time this week to take care of yourself, to make yourself a delicious meal. Let me know in the chat if you're going to do that, because so far no one has taken up my challenge. So I'm a little disappointed. Just kidding. But let me know in the chat if you're going to take me up on it, if you're going to try it for yourself. I will wait. You like my cactus over there? I got it at Target. Sophia says, I will. Okay, so Sophia, what are you going to make for yourself? What are you going to do? What are you going to cook? I want to know. I got to know. Maybe I got to get some inspiration. So I'll tell you what I'm going to try to make this week for myself. I'm going to make kale chips because I need the nutrients that are inside of kale, but I haven't worked up the courage to eat kale raw. I've only had kale like from salads that people have made for me and I've eaten, but I've never I'm trying to get into that kale lifestyle. And so when I went to Sprouts the other day, I got kale chips and they're normally $5.99 for like a little bag, but it was on sale for $3.99. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. Like since you're on sale. And so I opened the bag of kale chips. It was nacho cheese flavored. nacho cheese flavor. We're going to do the nutritional yeast to make it taste like nacho cheese, but I'm going to try to cook kale chips. Let me know if you guys have ever tried. I'm trying in an air fryer to cook them, so we'll see. But like, that's what it is, right? It's finding fun ways to add veggies into our diet, to make what we're eating healthier, better, more vibrant, good for us. And it's trying to find like fun ways to make it taste better and fun ways to add it into our life. So that's what I'm going to try to make. I promise to you, I will report back in the next live video how the kale chips go, because I don't know. I've never made kale chips before, and I feel like they'll get like soggy. I'm not sure. I don't know. Oops, hold on. My mom used to make those. Okay, that's good. There's hope. She used agave syrup to make them sweet and just bake them. Okay. That sounds good. Agave syrup to make them sweet and just bake them, because kale can be kind of bitter. Yeah. Okay. Sophia, I'm taking your tip. I'm taking that note, and I will carry it with me this week for the kale chips. But yeah, guys, that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to talk about how important it is to choose food that nourishes you. A lot of times we identify with like the types of snacks that we eat. So I'm really big on affirmations. I think I talked about it in the last video as well. I'm really big on affirmations. And so how you see yourself is really important. And the type of person you see yourself is really important. So one of the things that I don't call myself, I refuse to use this word to describe me, is fat. I do not like, and this started probably in 8th grade. My mom, backpedal. A lot of us get our self-identity from our parents. So we grow up seeing how our moms talk about themselves in the mirror. And that teaches us how to see ourselves in the mirror. We're getting deep fast, huh? Whew, buckle up. So we grow up watching our parents look at themselves, assess themselves, maybe tear apart themselves, So it's really common to have bad body image or poor self-esteem. And so if you grew up and your mom would always look at herself in the mirror and go, "Ooh, I'm so ugly. Oh my gosh. Ooh, look at those wrinkles. Oh no." Like if your mom was always tearing herself apart, chances are that when you got to the age where you would see yourself in the mirror, you would do the same thing, because that's what you thought was normal. That's really common. And my mom, she, like, every now and then she would say like things like, "Oh, I'm getting older," or, "Oh, there's a couple of wrinkles." But for the most part, she wouldn't be tearing herself apart so much. And so my mom never she called herself fat. She never was like picking, like, some women, they're very insecure of certain body type, like body parts, like my legs or my nose, or like, some people are very insecure of specific things. My mom was never like that. And so she raised me to like accept myself and to refuse to criticize myself. And like using the word fat, like this all ties together, right? The food that we eat, feeling guilty for what we eat or don't eat, feeling insecure, feeling ugly, or feeling fat, like all of this is so heavily tied together. But the way you view food, the way you view food, and the way you view taking care of yourself, the way you view your body, it's all tied into your self-care. And so, like, how do you see yourself? And what type of person do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as, "Oh, I'm the type of person who loves sugar. I'm the type of person who loves junk food. I'm the type of person who loves fast food. I can't say no to fast food." So if you say those things about yourself, then your life, like your actions, work to prove what you say about yourself. So if you say, "I'm the type of person who loves candy and can never pass up candy," when you're at a party and there's candy, what are you going to do? You're going to put your hand in that candy bowl because that's who you say you are. Okay. And so here's a challenge for you. What if you start saying something different about yourself? What if you start saying, oh, I'm the type of person who nourishes my body? Oh, that's interesting, right? The first time I did that, my mind was like, excuse me, no, you're lying. Like, it takes getting used to. But what if you started associating yourself with more positive things and more healthy things, right? Okay, so you could say these affirmations out loud, or you could write them in a journal. Like I have literally done this, and that's why I'm telling you about it, because it has helped me see myself as a healthier person, which then helps me make healthier decisions. Okay, so okay. Are you with me in the chat? Are you with me? Raise your hand if you're with me still, because we took like a detour pivot. So what you can write in your affirmations, or what you can say about this topic, is I am the type of person who makes healthy decisions, right? I'm the type of person who nourishes my body with healthy, nutrient-dense foods. I am the type of person who does not emotionally eat. I am the type of person who actually spends time on herself to prepare a delicious meal. I'm the type of person who is willing to spend money on herself to get good quality foods. And so these are all examples of affirmations that you can say about yourself when it comes to feeding yourself well and nourishing your body and taking care of yourself. And you guys, raise your hand if you think I'm tripping, like with these affirmations. Like, let me know if you're like, Sarena, like, use this kinds of crazy. Like, let me know if you're like where you're at with this, because I thought affirmations were kind of weird, but the more I started using them, the more I realized they work. And so by associating with like, I'm the type of person who takes care of my body and nourishes my body, I just feel better when I eat vegetables. I just feel better when I take the time to eat good food. And then it solidifies like, yeah, I'm that type of person, and I do that, and we're doing good. Like, we feel good. Okay. Sophia, affirmations are great. Yes, they're so good. Makeda, I believe that. Life of Shayla, they definitely work. Speak it into the universe. Yay! Okay, I feel like this is an affirmation party. Like, yes. If you say, I'm fat, I only eat junk food. Oh my gosh, I've never met a fast food like restaurant that I haven't loved. Like, if you associate yourself with all of that yuck, all of that bad vibes, if you associate yourself with all of that gross, like junky, food, then whenever it comes up, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's my jam. Oh yeah, I love that. That's for me. And so you're not going to feel very good. You're not going to feel very good if you're constantly associating yourself with the yucky, greasy stuff, because your brain's like, yep, that's who we are. That's where we are. We're constantly trying, our brains are constantly trying to find our group, our people, who our group is, who we associate with, our crew. And so if we constantly identify as someone who like is obsessed with French fries, like, oh yes, French fries are my jam, or, if we constantly put ourselves in that category, then whenever it pops up, we're going to be like, yo, give me that. Like, I can't say no to that. That's my jam. Makeda raised her hand. I was like, what's this hand doing? I asked you to raise your hand, huh? Hello. But the more positively you associate yourself, and the more intention and time and care that you put into your food, and the thought that you put into your food, the better you can take care of yourself, and the more you can love yourself. So if you've learned anything new today, let me know in the chat what you've learned. Let me know if like what you're taking home with you. Yeah. Let me know in the chat, like, your takeaway from this talk. Let me know what has stood out to you based off of what we've talked about. LOL, not tripping. Okay, good. If you watch my lives, half the time I'm like, is it just me? Am I tripping? What's going on? I think I'm tripping most of the time. So let me know what your takeaway is from this live. I think if more people were intentional with the food that they eat every day, and if more people took the time to care about their bodies and to care about what goes into your body, I think our world would look very different, right? Um, Being a confidence coach, it's funny being a confidence coach and talking about this, but food has a lot to do with your confidence, because how you look has a lot to do with your confidence. How other people see you has a lot to do with your confidence, and how the world sees you and how you think the world sees you, like that has so much to do with your confidence, because you think like, oh, this person thinks I'm fat, or this person like, but what if you didn't see yourself as fat? Like, what if you just accepted yourself how you were? Like, okay, maybe there's a little, like, this, I'll look at my legs sometimes and I'm like, okay, there's a little cellulite there. Like, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done, but I'm not like beating myself up. I'm not hating that it's a part of me. I'm not like shaming myself for it being there, but I'm just like seeing myself and accepting myself. And if you feel insecure or you feel like crap or your emotions are like, oh, and you eat junk food to feel better, like, no, that's not it. Confidence is about understanding you're worth it. You're worth the price of healthy food. You're worth the time to eat the healthy food. Confidence is tying in like, yeah, this body, I am worth taking care of. And when I fuel my body and when I nourish my body, I feel good. That's part of confidence. You want to feel good, right? Shayla, it's okay to take the time to do self-care. Self-care can be done in many different ways. Yes, yes. Mic drop and period. Self-care is not just a bubble bath. It's not just a bath bomb. It's not just like watching your favorite Netflix show. Self-care is doing the things that will help you and will heal you long term. So like one last and final thought, okay? Hang with me. One last thought. When you look at the world and you look at all the different people that you see, right now we're not walking around on the street as much, right? We're all inside. But when you look at everybody on Instagram or when you look around at people, how much different would our world look if everyone was the most confident version of themselves? What would that world look like? And then for you, what would it look like if you were the most confident version of yourself? Would you spend the 10 minutes to like get ready in the morning and like feel good and take pride in how you look? Maybe. Would you realize like, oh yeah, like my body's worth taking care of. It's okay for me to spend 15 minutes to make a quick little lunch? Maybe. Confidence is different for everybody and it shows up differently for everybody. If you were fully confident in yourself, would you start that podcast? Would you launch that blog, or would you finally like start putting yourself out there more on Instagram? Or would you finally make that video that you've been wanting to make on YouTube? If you were the most confident version of yourself, what's the difference between how you are now and what you would be doing? You don't have to answer it in the chat. I just want you to think about it. Like, are you your most confident self right now? Like, is this what it looks like? Because it might be, but I think our world would look a lot different if everybody was the most confident version. I think a lot of us let ourselves get in the way of doing anything cool. So in my opinion, this is what our world would look like. I think there would be a lot more cures, like medical cures, because people might be doubting their skills or doubting what they know. There would be so many more businesses open because people wouldn't be afraid and they would just go for it. I think if everybody was the most confident version of themselves, there would be books that were written, there would be plays, there would be so many more movies. If everybody was their most vibrant and radiant self, there would be so many people. Like, our world would be a lot brighter. And there's nothing wrong if someone is like shining their light and staying in their lane and going for it. There's nothing wrong with that because it makes our entire world brighter. A lot of people go like, oh, the market's too saturated. There's too many YouTubers right now. They don't need another like cooking channel. They don't need another beauty influencer. And here's my argument. Like, while the market can be saturated for some areas, it's true. Like, there are a lot of beauty YouTubers, right? Don't shoot the messenger. There are. There are a lot of Instagrammers. But here's my thought. You're different than everybody else. You bring something different to the table. Here's an idea. One time I watched two influencers go on the same trip. They had the same schedule, same itinerary, same hotel room. Everything was the same. They were with the same group of people, two girls, the same trip. And the way they showed that trip, what they chose to put on their Instagram stories, the way they expressed the trip was different, right? One of the girls was like super bougie and super lavish and like showing her champagne and showing her expensive purse and showing her shoes. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, that's cool, whatever. But then the other girl, the other girl, she was on the same trip and she was showing it in a totally different way. She was showing the food that she was eating, the beautiful sunset. She was sharing on her story one of the funny things that happened. It was a totally different vibe when the two girls were doing the exact same things in the exact same place at the exact same time. Like, everything was the same except the person. And so that's why it's important for you to stand up and speak up and do your thing and own your niche, because you do it differently than any other person. And so what you do, how you do it, nobody else can mimic it. I heard this quote, you are unique. You are as unique as your fingerprint or thumbprint. No one else can copy every single thing that you do. You are as unique as your thumbprint. So if you're held back right now because you're like, oh, there's too many YouTubers, oh, there's too many Instagrammers, it's an oversaturated market. Why do they need me? Because someone will relate to you because you are different. The way you talk, how you were raised, your life experience, like everything, it's like a big pot with everything, like a cauldron. It's a big cauldron with all of your life experiences, everything that has happened to you, all of your stories, your mannerisms, everything about you is in this cauldron. And that is what makes you different. That is why you need to show up in your industry, because no one in this entire world could ever do it the exact same way that you do it, not even if they tried. Okay? So please speak up. Please stand up. Please do your thing. Don't worry about what Susie's doing. Don't worry about what she's doing over, like, tunnel vision, right? I need you to show up in your industry and show up in your space and rock your thing, do your thing without worrying about what other people are thinking of you or doing. Okay? So we took a turn. That was a little pep talk. I felt like you needed it today. I don't know. I felt like you needed the pep talk. Guys, we're at 58 minutes and this has been fun. We talked about what self-care is, how it is long-term, how we see ourselves, and why it's so important for you to show up. So if you thought this was helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you loved this, don't forget to subscribe to stay in my world. I'll be going live more often. And thank you so much for joining me and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a great and blessed Thursday. Talk to you later. End stream.